afternoon. I do hope you're having a lovely weekend. My name is Boni Tunya and this is KTN Live at 1 on the 19th day of October 2013. We'll start with matters in Baragoi, where we do understand late last evening there was a raid in Baragoi and 4 people are believed to have lost their lives following a cattle rustling activity. I'm now joined by way of phone by Gitonga Mugambi, who is the Kenya Red Cross coordinator in Samburu County. Good afternoon, Gitonga.
Good afternoon to you.
Gitonga, what happened yesterday afternoon?
There was a banditry attack that took place yesterday in the morning around 9 a.m. at a place called Watsonongagi.
Right. What kind of raid are you talking about?
It was a cattle rustling raid. And
do we know who was involved?
Yeah, according to the information that I collected on the ground is that the Turkana Molans attacked the Samburu Manyata.
Right, and please confirm to us the number of people who lost their lives.
During the attack, 2 people were killed, and after there were other casualties, but one of them succumbed to injury and passed on in the hospital.
Right, and do we have any government officials at the scene already, and what kind of sentiments are they sharing?
So far, the governor of Samburu County and the MP for Samburu North and other leaders from Samburu County and also the county commissioner have moved to the ground. And they are trying to cool the tension because at the moment the tension is very high in Watsonongagi and Baragoi town.
Mugambi, how frequent are these kind of attacks in the Baragoi area?
It's quite worrying because for the last 1 month we've been having attacks almost every week, especially on the Samburu side, and a lot of animals have been stolen from those communities.
Right, and Mugambi, you obviously working in that area. What would be the biggest need in that area, security or otherwise?
For that area, my take is that people need to come together. The leadership of Samburu and other partners, we need to come together and address this situation because now it seems it's getting out of hand.
All right, Gitonga Mugambi, who is the Kenya Red Cross coordinator for Samburu County, many thanks for bringing us that update. Regarding the killings in Baragoi, we do understand there was a cattle rustling raid late evening yesterday and 3 people have lost their lives, others are being injured and the Red Cross is on the ground. We also do understand that officials from the government are trying to address that situation. We'll be giving you more unfolding news from Samburu as and when it happens. Moving on, Field Marshal Kavote from Embu County is among the few living remnants who actively participated in fighting for independence. Kavote, who is now old and weak, still clings to a piece of Kenyan flag he says he received from the then Prime Minister Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. Still maintaining the long hair since independence, Kavote says it was a covenant they made with their God who would use their hair to distinguish them from other people. However, he criticizes the recent compensation awarded to the Mau Mau victims by the British government, which did not recognize those who died during the struggle for freedom. Mzee Kavote, who lives in a quarter-acre farm in Gishishe with his 3 sons, is still hopeful that he will get a chance to give back the flag to President Uhuru, as he claims he has some secrets he would only share with the head of state.
Kwa hivi nasema kwa serikali ya Kenya, yale yamepita ni tusana, lakini wafikirie hawa watoto wa watu hawa walikufa. Mimi sikuwa na mtoto, sikuwa na mtoto, lakini nilijitolea kuwa kwa Kenya nayo ipate uhuru, wakae vizuri, lakini wale walikuwa walisauliwa na ndio mimi nilisema sitaki hizo pesa, sitaki kuandikwa.
Sticking with matters Mashujaa, Deputy President William Ruto will mark Mashujaa Day celebrations in Brussels, Belgium, with Kenyans living in Europe. Now, according to Kenya's ambassador to Belgium, Johnson Weru, and his Netherlands counterpart, Makena Mushiri, who have both confirmed attendance of the celebration, will be held at the Place of Colonies in Brussels, in a celebration that will also feature an interdenominational prayer service. Away from tradition where the Deputy President normally welcomes the President to address the nation, in tomorrow's celebration, the President may have to be welcomed by a Cabinet Secretary or the Governor of Nairobi, Dr. Evans Kidero. The ICC says Deputy William Ruto is free to travel as he wishes when the court is not in session. Now, this comes on the back of a decision by the International Criminal Court allowing President Uhuru Kenyatta to skip some of the sessions, with only the opening, closing and sentence hearing being mandatory. Moving on, let's start our county road trip in central Kenya in an ongoing process to decongest Kenya prisons so as to enable better service delivery to the inmates. Kangongo Maximum Prison in Nyeri has recommended 418 inmates who have had a prison term less than 3 years remaining to be released. After security and vetting of 221 of them are up for a possible release back to society, with a belief that they have performed and have acquired skills to help them make a decent living. Kangongo's officer in charge, Patrick Aranda, says that the society should strive to give the released inmates a second chance and assist them to adopt. Carol Nderi has that report.
Na hii kazi tunafanya hapa inapeleka mpaka nje. Na hata wewe ukikutana kuna kitu unaweza kalia huko raia ukoze kuamini ilitengenezwa ndani ya jela. Na wenzetu ambao unaona wamevaa zebra hapa. So ni watu ambao wamerekebika ingawa sura yao ni tofauti.
Ezra Ouma, a convict at the Kingongo Maximum Prison in Nyeri, is passionate about the need for the society to accept inmates once released back to the society, having served their respective sentences. Ouma, who has been serving a 7-year sentence since 2007 when he was jailed for robbery with violence, told KTN that inmates like him deserve a second chance, as most are remorseful for the crimes they committed.
Tuko na hakika. Manake mimi ni yule ambaye anafanya kazi mzuri jela na mimi ndio huyo bado, kwa hivyo nikienda raia hakuna mabadiliko yote yatakuwepo.
In an ongoing countrywide vetting process by the High Court, 3,500 inmates with sentences less than 3 years are up for possible release in a bid to decongest the prisons. Patrick Arandu, the prison's officer in charge, says the process to win back prisoners begins with the management trying to make them understand that they are in prison to be rehabilitated and not merely as punishment.
We try to prepare them psychologically that the society isn't, you offended the society. It is not the society that offended you. And that's why you find out that the probation officers normally go to interview the family first before now the final recommendation is made to the courts.
There are 1,150 inmates at the Kingongo Maximum Prison, and about 300 of them are up for possible release should the vetting process clear them. Ouma says many like him have acquired skills that will help them engage in legitimate income-generating activities and avoid friction with the law.
Ukienda raia na hiyo ujuzi yote na una uwezo, ni rahisi sana ushikwe kwa sababu utakuwa unakaa idle. Hauna pesa, lakini akili uko naye, ujuzi uko naye. Ujuzi unapotelea ndani ya hewa hapa.
Overcrowding in Kenyan prisons has hampered delivery of services to inmates. Kingongo Maximum Prison authorities say that the decongestion exercise is not merely an exercise aimed at reducing the concentration of prisoners, but to release reformed and skilled people back to the community. Carol Nderi for KTN at the Kingongo Maximum Prison in Nyeri.
We'll cross over to Mombasa, where the Cabinet Secretary for Internal Security, Joseph Ole Lenku, touched down in Mombasa County for meetings with security chiefs and religious leaders after the October 3rd killing of Muslim cleric and riots that followed. Now, the closed meetings that went on for most of yesterday were meant to address the tensions that followed the killing of Sheikh Ibrahim Ismail and 3 others on the night of Thursday, the 3rd of October, as well as the burning of the Salvation Army Church and the riots that happened on the following day.
Hapo ni sawa, hapo ni sawa.
Hapa ni sawa.
We have just held a meeting with the county security chiefs just to review our security situation and to make sure that security is tightened. We also held a fruitful discussion with some leaders of Masjid Musa Mosque. We are going to have a meeting again this afternoon with the church leadership, the Mombasa Church Forum, and later on with the Imams, Muslims of Mombasa. Basically just to make sure that all of us are moving in one accord with regard to security. And I must confess that the discussions we have had are fruitful. The briefing I've received from the county security teams is very, very encouraging. And the security generally in the county, as the county of Mombasa, is good.
Now, a good number of women in Kisumu were able to benefit from a free cervical cancer screening at the Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Referral Hospital. Research has shown that the majority of the women in the area shy off from such checkups, which are crucial in reducing the risk of being infected. The program is aimed at detecting cervical cancer at its early stages, where it positive and can be cured once detected. Chemotherapy, which is the general use of low temperatures to kill the cells, is applied. Doctors say that it is an easy process that, contrary to the fears and the checkups that should be done regularly.
Niliona kama ilishika dada ya mama yangu na waligundua late. Na ilimshika upande wa matiti hadi matiti wakamkata, lakini hakuweza kupata uzima.
So it's been an annual thing, like I could say. We also need to do breast cancer, checkups annually. Just like men also, when they have reached the ages of 40, we would want them to go for a medical examination to have their prostate checks, because prostate is another area.
Just a day after the International Criminal Court lifted some of the conditions against President Uhuru Kenyatta, and members of the Maasai community from Nakuru County have expressed their concern over the ICC debate, saying that it is creating unnecessary tension in the volatile area. Speaking in Naivasha, the members said that there is no need for President Uhuru and his deputy William Ruto to be present at The Hague throughout, maintaining that the two have state responsibilities to attend to. They are now calling for the deferral of the cases. Now, they say the ongoing Ruto trial is raising anxiety in the Rift Valley region, adding that the former ICC Chief Prosecutor Luis Moreno Ocampo is to blame for the current situation by conducting shoddy investigations.
Sio sisi ambaye tumeenda kustaki hao. Hatuna mmoja wetu ambaye ameenda Hague kustaki. Ni yeye mwenyewe ndiye anatustaki pale. Na ni sisi ndio tumechagua viongozi wetu. Na kama hao viongozi walikuwa wametuchosha, tungechagua kweli?
Tungependa kueleza koti ya Hague ambaye inaongozwa na Madam Bensouda ya kwamba tunaomba hiyo koti iheshimu katiba ya Kenya, iheshimu wananchi wa Kenya, iheshimu maisha ya wana Kenya.
Let's talk matters health now. And the fluorosis condition, known to be common in most parts of Central and Rift Valley in the country, with many residents suffering teeth decay and weak bones. Residents of Kariandusi area, that is in Gilgil, claim that their only source of water in the area has so much fluoride that it is a danger to their health. KTN's Rachel Menza has the details.
Residents of Ngong village in Kariandusi, Gilgil, are now crying foul over what they call the inevitable. Many here complain of health complications they believe originate from what for many years they have known as safe water. This spring here remains their only source of water, and though it looks clean, the residents claim it has a high quantity of fluoride that has affected their teeth and bones.
Hata hii mtoto ni mezalia hapa tu. Na meno yake juu ya hiyo fluoride
iko vile vile kama yangu. Hata mingi sana sasa yeye hana meno mingi kunishinda. Yani ile imetoka ndio mingi.
A similar case to that of Lilian Wambui and Helen Mudhoni, both still in their early 20s.
Sai sina meno 10, tayari nishang'oa. Mika kitu kaa githeri siwezi kula, miwa siwezi kula. Meno yangu imekuwa mbaya zaidi.
Another lady, Miriam Wangui Kariuki, says she has suffered weak and achy bones condition for over 28 years now. And at only 53, Miriam now walks like a centenarian.
Daktari aliniambia mifupa imekuliwa na hiyo fluoride. Nilipigwa pisa na huyo daktari akaniambia sasa mama yangu shida yako imeingia. Na kila utafanyiwa uende Kenyatta uraswa huko miezi 6 bila kutoka kwa ward.
She decided to construct a tank that taps rainy water just to help her next generation not suffer the same misery she's going through after using this hot, salty water. We sought the views of a specialist, and according to Dr. Silvanos Baraza, a dentist in Nakuru, not all complications of this nature in the area can be associated with excessive fluorine, since fluorosis condition is not common among those above 18 years.
The effect of fluoride does not actually come after the age of 18 on the bones, even on the teeth, because at this time, the teeth are fully calcified, and also the bones have also ceased to grow. So maybe it could be maybe the effect of maybe the calcium.
For the teeth, Dr. Baraza points out that it could be just normal decay, and if it is fluorosis, then it must have occurred before the age of 18, though further checkup may be required.
If somebody can afford to buy a distiller, there are some small household distillers somebody can buy and they can use at home for small kids. Just at the time when they start weaning, that is, they start taking the foods apart from the milk, that is the age of 6 months. You should make sure that these children, they do not consume high fluoride water.
We are appealing to the Governor Kinodhia and Uhuru Kenyatta, let us save the life of our people. Ukienda kwa shule iko hapa, iko na watoto 400. Wakifika miaka 10, meno yao inaanza kungolewa. What kind of a life are our people leading?
Kamchemenza, KTN in Nakuru.
Radio Maisha listeners in Nakuru were treated to a day of fun as the Standard Media Group caravan toured Nakuru to popularize the group's products that include Standard Newspaper, KTN Television, Radio Maisha and other publications. The roadshow that also promoted the ongoing promotion Jicheki na Thao was hosted by some of Radio Maisha's presenters, including comedian James Chanji, commonly known as Mshaba. Zebedeo, renowned gospel artist Ben Githai, performed during the show that attracted hundreds of Nakuru residents. The caravan will also tour Nyeri, Nyandarua and Laikipia.
Weka gazeti yako alafu kisha 4.5 Nakuru, tuko pamoja.
Na kukosa hiyo, si ndio? Ije tuende kazi.
Now remember, all the stories that you do see on this particular bulletin can be read on the official website, that is standardmedia.co.ke. That's a good place to take a break. More news coming up shortly. Welcome back to the program. We go international now, and China's economy powered the head of the month from July to September, delivering its fastest quarter of growth this year. Output was up 7.8% from a year earlier.
the pace the world was accustomed to in the past decade. Third quarter GDP came in at a solid 7.8%, which was in line with expectations. This is what it looks like over the past year. The latest number ends a staircase of decline in the world's second largest economy. Most are giving credit to the premier, Mr. Lee, for a mini stimulus plan, a combination of expanding the country's railway system and tax cuts. The real question at this juncture, what kind of growth can China deliver in 2014? A survey conducted by CNN Money suggests an expansion of 7.25% next year. While that would be the envy of most of the world, it would be well off the double-digit levels of the past decade. China's in the midst of transition, trying to engineer more domestic-led growth rather than depending on exports. Retail sales remain in the double digits, over 13%. The latest economic report comes ahead of an important Communist Party meeting next month. The relatively new government has the challenge of trying to sustain growth while curbing the rise in regional debt.
Last year, it was mostly about managing the transition. This year, it will be mostly about the economy. So we're pretty confident that they're going to get on top of some of these issues. But you're right, there are a lot of downside risks to the Chinese economy right now.
In the context of the world's largest economies, these numbers remain impressive. Europe is struggling to get back into positive territory again, and U.S. growth in the latest quarter was just a third of what we saw from China. John Defterius, CNN, Hong Kong.
Now, in Eastern Europe, a discovery of an almost 2-million-year-old skull has become the bone of contention amongst scientists. This is because it calls onto questions of the way we've classified our ancestors. CNN's Becky Anderson has more.
It's a discovery that's threatening to shake the leaves off our evolutionary family tree. A 1.8-million-year-old skull from one of our ancestors, Homo erectus, unearthed in recent years in Dmanisi, a town in the Eastern European nation of Georgia. It was found at the same location as 4 incomplete skulls, all from the same time period. Up until now, a widely accepted model of the way we evolved includes several different branches of early man. Homo rudolfensis, Homo habilis, Homo erectus. Researchers looking at these new skulls say because they show such variations in appearance, they suggest that what was thought to be several species of early man are in fact just variations of one, Homo erectus. The research team says the extent of the variations between these ancient individuals is as wide as what we see in humans today. In our modern world, mankind has so many shapes, sizes, colors, and looks. This new discovery could mean that maybe our ancestors were just the same. Many unique individuals, but all the same species in the end.
Well, that's just about all the news we had for you this Saturday afternoon. John Alanamu comes at the top of the hour with Africa Speaks, and the topic is ICC. You do want to stay around. My name is Bonnie Tunya. Have yourself a great weekend.